Awesome. Megan, you got any gratitudes this morning?
Yes, I think we are going under contract on my new listing that I listed like a week or two ago.
Yay!
Yeah.
Fun. I love it. I love it. Well, I'm just grateful you guys are all here today. And I guess we'll kick it off. This is kind of a basic concept that we're going to talk about today, but something that I really want to hit hard on because it's truly the foundation of our business. It's truly the foundation of lead generation and growth. Um, and that is communication. So you guys have probably heard Gary Keller say real estate is a contact sport. It's a contact sport, meaning the more people that you are in relationship with, the more opportunity you create. Same thing with Tom Ferry, right? He'll tell you that it's not about the best script that you have, it's about having the best follow-up system. Contacts directly equate to contracts. So that's where having not only contacts, but staying in contact with the people that you have in your database can be so important in our business and just really be the driving factor what helps us hit our goals. So I guess to start with, since we got a small group, we'll do a little interaction here. How many of you use a CRM system? Are we all using CRMs? Okay. Do you guys mind unmuting and just sharing which CRMs you guys are using?
I use follow up boss.
Sweet.
Follow up, boss.
Sweet.
We use Brevity, but I think
Oh,
we're talking
cool.
about maybe going to follow up boss
Okay.
is what there's discussions, I believe.
I'll have to have a conversation with Virginia about that too. We just went from Brivity to follow up boss. I'll have to ping her.
Yeah, we've been looking for people who have done that just to talk to them because we're using Sisu as well, and we're having some integration issues. But
Yeah, yeah. And I feel like the reason we went to follow up boss, we weren't loving Brivity and the way it was set up, but you know that saying, success leaves clues. And I can look at our upline and I'm like, Kyle Whistle, who's like in the top 10, what's he use? Follow up boss. Parker Pemberton, who's the number one EXP agent, what's he use? Follow up boss. So in my mind, I'm like, why am I trying to recreate the wheel and do something that I think is going to
mhm.
be great when we have these leaders that are telling us that follow up boss is the way to go? So
Yeah.
perfect. So we're all using follow up boss. How many of you are using follow up boss? And this is no judgment zone at all. How many of you are using your CRM, whichever one that you're using, to the full capacity? You are recording notes, you're making phone calls out of it, you're using it to really track everything that you do. Ramil, why does that not surprise me? Brad? Okay. And I think, like I can look at my team and say, we probably have a split on that of people that are using the CRM and not. Now, to their defense, a lot of agents came on as we were transitioning, so that might be part of it. But I think the number one thing is using your follow up, your CRM to the full potential. Um, are you guys are you guys using the calendar functionality within your CRMs as well?
Mm-mm.
No. Ramil, I love in Follow Up Boss. If you record your appointments in there, if you set your appointments in there,
Mm-hmm.
you can add your clients on and you can send them a text and an email reminder automatically.
Really?
So you don't have to, we talked about previously that whole like being the professional, like doctors, lawyers,
Yeah.
whatever, they all send the text and the email. You can do that in a really dumbed down way by
Mm.
just setting your appointments through Follow Up Boss instead of putting them on the calendar on your phone.
Oh,
And
I guess I've done
yeah,
that. Yeah. Like where you can set like a task or like a follow up. Yeah, and
yep.
it'll tell you to it'll notify them and yeah. Okay, I've done that before. Yeah.
Yeah, so when you set it as an appointment itself, and then you
Yeah.
can go back in and change the outcome of that appointment too, and then it will record it for your data tracking to like how many appointments you have, like how many appointments converted into deals, those kind of things too. And Brad, I know they have that in Brivity too. Do you use your calendar in Brivity as well?
We do like I'll set appointments through Brevity because then it logs in Sisu.
Oh, yep.
Like we do appointments set and appointments met, and then it adds it to our Google Calendar. But that's about it. I know there's so many things with Brevity that I don't even touch on.
Yeah,
Um, so
agreed. Well, we with I do two things. I use Follow Up Boss with those appointment reminders if they're already in there. If it's someone new and I'm trying to set up an appointment with them and I'm on the go, I also have a Calendly account and I have a specific category for like listing consultation or showings. and I will send a link to my clients and say, pick a time that works best for you. So we don't have to go back and forth and let them get in and log it and all of that. So I think there's several different tools from a calendar perspective. We talk a lot, about using your calendar, but that was one hack that I just was curious if you guys were using. And I love the automation, whether it's Calendly or the CRMs. I don't know if Brivity does that, where it sends them a text and an email reminder. I love that automation to just remind our clients as well. How many do you guys have? Obviously, Brad, I know Virginia's got drip campaigns then set up for you guys that you can automate, whatnot. I'm assuming, Ramil, you have the same thing, some drip campaigns set up from that
Mhm.
perspective. What do either of you guys have AI in there? Like AI
Uh,
interacting?
I've used it. That was I think it's been pretty recent since they added like the AI response like feature that you can do.
Yep.
And I've used it a few times.
Brad, do you guys use the
Yeah,
AI?
well, they have the capability of AI and brevity, but
Does your team use it typically, or is it not really utilized? Okay.
no,
We
so
just we just
I
invested
don't.
in YLOPO, and it's kind of fun because the AI will say like, this is Michelle's assistant or this is Peggy's assistant or whatever, and engage them. But I do find the AI, for the most part, if you have it tagged correctly so that it's not following up with your past clients, right? Or people you're having conversations with already, that can be a little awkward. So you got to have the right tags to make sure it doesn't turn on those people. But we've converted, like, had a lot of good appointment conversions based off of just this automated AI when people come in from like realtor.com leads and whatnot, having the assistant involved too. And at first we were a little worried because it's like we have an auto plan that automatically like texts them and emails them. But then this AI will come in and say, I'm so and so's assistant. So we were kind of like, is this overkill? But I think it's really helped. It just, like, in their mind, two people have reached out. It's not, we find that to be pretty helpful. So kind of just engaging that conversation through AI or timeliness. How do you get, so you guys are going to be a little different, right? Brad, you're on a team. Ramil, you are obviously solo. How do you get, what are your kind of turn times when you guys have leads come in? How are you making sure that you're attacking them quickly?
Well, we get a like when a lead comes in because we do lead rotation. So when a lead comes in through Brivity, I'll get a text and also get an email that comes in, and then the expectation on the team is that you are reaching out to them within a half hour.
Okay.
And if you can't, then you need to pass it to somebody else on the team. Um, and you're reaching out the the um the plan in Brivity is you're reaching out phone call, email, text, phone call, email, text. And was it CTC that I heard that now it's gone up from 12 contacts to the average is like 18 or 20 now before someone responds? Was it CTC or was that Virginia may have mentioned it?
I know, I'm trying to remember. We were talking about that a few weeks ago, kind of the number of contact. I don't remember. It could have been here.
Yeah, some maybe
Could have been.
Leo said it somewhere and it's passed on, but like it's now like 20 times you
Yeah,
have to reach out to somebody before, which is just ridiculous.
it is. And I think that a lot of those leads that are coming in now, I think I heard a stat and I can't remember exactly what it is, but it's potentially like the average is 18 months to conversion, 15 months to conversion. Like we're
Yeah.
just not getting a lot of quick conversions. Ramil, what do you do in terms of like
So
lead?
I don't have any like paid leads anymore, so I don't have them just automatically, come in anymore. But when they did, Follow Boss had a really nice, or I guess has a really nice trigger where it'll basically you can time it. So I had it where I always try within the first 5 minutes to get a contact. If it comes in, I'm calling them. If I can't get it, I had a text message trigger where after 5 minutes the new lead came in, Follow Boss would automatically send a text message, with a message that I crafted, reaching out to them. That way all the new ones always got hit. But yeah, like I said, since I'm not paying for leads anymore, so I don't have any
You don't have as much of that
I don't have a
deep
response
lead
time that I
issue.
need to hit, right? Yeah.
Yeah. I love that you're not paying for leads and you're still having the success that you're having. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It is awesome.
Megan, what about you? Do you have a process right now for when a lead reaches out, how to get back to them quickly, or still a
So it's you. So I don't pay for leads either. I'm solo. But when I did have follow-up boss and I don't remember what the other one was when I was on the first team. I was reaching out within like the first 10 minutes, usually. I would forget to update that in the system, but I would reach out to them within the first 5, 10 minutes. And usually I didn't get any responses. I would try like 10 times or so, and I just wouldn't get anything. But yeah, I guess I mean now I use close. I kind of like that. What I like about that is that I can use my own number in close. It doesn't give just like a random like local number.
right?
And because that's happened, and I've had someone say, "Well, wasn't I just talking to you on another number?" Yes, that's an automated thing. And I was like, "This is me. I'm a real person," type thing. So,
Yeah.
yeah. But no, I don't. I would reach out, like I said, within like the first 5, 10 minutes. Now I just have people usually, my hot market is Facebook and church. I have people contact me all the time, walk up to me. Like I was at Freedom class on Sunday and I was on the team, and I had a lady come up to me and she was like, "Hey, I see your post all over Facebook and we need to sit down and talk because we're looking at buying a house." And it's just because of Facebook. So usually like, I've got do not disturb on my phone, but when my phone goes off, I'll tend to look at it. And if it's someone that I don't really know, I'll kind of view the message. And it's like, oh. And so I pretty much answer them right then because it's not taking away from much.
Yeah.
It's not on a phone call.
I like that. Um, do you guys are you quicker to answer the calls from unknown numbers that are potentially leads, or like your mom and your cousins and your I feel like that's a hard one. Like I'm always like, oh, I'm in the middle of something. I can send them a text, but then the other ones, that come through, I'm like, oh, maybe I need to answer that in case it's a lead. Um, what, so how would you guys, obviously like getting in the leads is super important. Having communication, like speed to lead is really important when we have new leads. But in terms of communication with your existing and current clients, do you guys all have a process in place to make sure that you're reaching out, you're not forgetting to communicate with them throughout the process as well?
Yeah, I have closed in it. It'll say, like, I'll get 2 to 3 reminders a day. It says, "Hey, it's time to reach out to such and such. Hey, it's time to reach out to such and such." So that keeps me accountable.
Love that. Ramil, do you have anything automated to help you stay on top of?
Yeah, I have a few drip campaigns that I've set up in Follow Up Boss. So I have like I think it goes over a year, one that pretty much everyone gets set up on. And then I have like a new buyer one, just different things like that. The year one is more for, because like I said, a lot of the leads that are going in are not new people anymore. So my database is basically just all the people that are still in there that, have accumulated over the past 3 years. Um, so it's more of just, just different value touch points that are going on over that year to make sure they're still being engaged. And then I still am working through now, calling them, updating, seeing if I can figure out where they're at, what bucket, to put in and things like that, just going through them as I can.
I like that. We have obviously we have auto plans. So depending on where they are in the process, if it's someone we haven't talked to previously, or we've talked to maybe once, but they're more of in that lead category still, then we have auto plans that are set up. But once they get into our transaction ecosphere, whether that's they're an active listing, pre-listing, or under contract, then we use a tool called Airtable that gives us automated reminders to do things. So like on a listing, it's going to tell us every 2 weeks that we need to do a price reduction unless we've filled in, like we have a field that's last price reduction date. And if they haven't reduced in the last 2 weeks, we're going to have that, like, is it time for a price reduction convo? And then just reminding us to have a conversation with them or every other week. We do our biweekly updates with listings. And then same thing with people under client or under contract. There's just triggers to help us remember, like, hey, they're in this phase. We need to reach out and remind them to send their utilities, or remind them that, the inspection's been completed, or the inspection time and day, closing date, those kind of things. So we just have triggers to walk through the process. But I will say the more automation we put in to remind us to talk to people, the better the transactions become. You don't hear as frequently any like complaints about communication, or I didn't understand that, or I didn't know that was coming. So I think communication is really key. And I think there's two vital points. Communication's important early because you want to convert that lead and you just have to stay on top of them and in front of them. But then when they are in your sphere, communication, having that good communication leads to repeats and referrals. So I'm assuming along the line, Ramiel, you switching from buying leads to now having just your sphere in that you're working and other things that you have figured out communication, or they wouldn't be coming back to you.
Yep.
And I think that's, with any program that you're using, whether it's, we've talked about this in the past, right? Whether you have a buyer plan for new leads that are coming in from, say, a realtor.com or a paid lead source, there should be a plan to run. But even things like FSBOs and expireds, those aren't one and dones. And that's where a lot of agents fail. They'll say FSBOs don't work. They'll say Sphere doesn't work. They'll say realtor.com doesn't work. Well, it doesn't work because they're not working it. The key to really converting anything is to stay consistent and stay on top of it and make sure you have those systems and processes in place to really be in front of people, because when you disappear, they forget about you. They forget about you quick. So I think that's, the big thing is just making sure that you're staying in front of them. Do you, Brooke, how about you? Do you have any specific follow-up plans that you're using that are working really well right now?
I don't buy leads either. So I mean, unless are you talking about specifically with leads?
Nope, anything. Anything that you're using for lead generation as a whole.
Well, I'm not as good at doing stuff as I should be, as about getting like having like a system to, track like when I've talked to people and everything. But I consistently send out like a newsletter that I actually mail out 4 times a year. And I have like a process of doing stuff when I have an event. So I do a barbecue in the spring. So I send out something like about 6 weeks before the barbecue, like a mailer. And then I usually send a text about a week later just to like tell people like, hey, in case you didn't see it or whatever, just want to let you know about the date. And then I'll send them like the event sign up link. And then I'll send like another text message, usually a week or so, like before the event. And then if I haven't gotten a hold of people, like I might call them or whatever, just to make sure. It just kind of depends on who the person is. Because I know some people, if they didn't sign up, they were not interested in going. And I know who like usually signs up in the past. So I kind of pay attention to those things, like who actually has signed up in the past, just to make sure that they know about it. And then I'll even send them like a text reminder like the day before or something, just to remind them of the event. So I do those kind of things. But as far as like I have not been doing like a rotation of getting in touch with everybody. That's all of the kinds of things that I'm like, my life changed a lot last week. So with my one going to kindergarten.
Yeah.
So I'm like, these were the systems and processes that I was working on. Because right now I've just kind of been doing it by flying by the seat of my pants.
Yeah. Well, I think what's funny is like all of us that are on the call right now are producing agents, right? So for us to implement new systems, new processes, you bring up a good point. Like life gets in the way. Like you see that transaction that jumps in front of you, and you're going to focus on that because it's sitting right there. But I think it's really funny, and I fought this for years of using my calendar, using my systems, like spending the time to program my systems and processes down, like hone them in. I was so resistant to that, but it gives you that freedom. I don't know about you guys. It's that mental load of trying to remember, like, who do I have to touch? Like, who do I have to talk to? When do I need to talk to him? What am I forgetting right now? And so it's really like putting those basic systems in place so that you can free up some of the thoughts in your mind and put your mind and energy towards the things that are going to actually produce money. So I think
Oh,
that's
absolutely.
That's a good.
What was you use Follow Up Boss, you said? Because I've only been using the one that is through our like the brokerage, whatever. Because I was at a different brokerage and we had one that we used through them. Then I switched. I've just been using the one that we have.
Yeah.
So I've never paid for one.
Yeah.
It seems like the paid ones are a lot better though.
Yeah, and we can have a conversation about that, Brooke. I can tell you the pros and cons because I've used KV Core, I've used Brivity, I've used Lofty. I mean, there's been so many we've used, and then now we're on Follow Up Boss. We've used Follow Up Boss in the past, and then came back to it for a reason. So I think that the ones that your broker provide, there's two kind of negatives to that. Is the one your broker provides, if you ever leave, you've got to export everything. You can't take that with you. And then number two, they're usually buying a scaled down version because it's cheaper for them, right? And they're giving you the basics that you need. When you invest in your own CRM, you're getting a lot more functionality, a lot more automations and access to things that you wouldn't otherwise have. So I think that
Yeah.
can be beneficial, but we can chat about that at a
I'm gonna chat with you about a couple things. So
yes, for real.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's really, you brought up another thing that's really important too, and that's the 33 touch, 36 touch, right? There's all kinds of different, it's evolved over the ways. And like while we're not with Keller Williams, like I'm not personally with Keller Williams anymore, there's a lot of things that Gary Keller had taught, like the basic foundations and the talk, talks about the 33 touch, 36 touch, all of that really resonates and really makes sense. So that's the easiest way to stay in front of your sphere and generate that repeat and referral business, is just have that consistency. And there's probably a few things that you could add on there. You're already doing the events, right? You're already doing the events, you're already doing your newsletter, so they're already getting so many touches. Now you just need to figure out what you can sprinkle in there fairly easily to have conversation with them. And Audra's plan is really awesome about breaking that down over a 12-week period and just reminding you, like, from a rotation, okay, it's your time to call them. Okay, it's your time to DM them on social media. Okay, it's time to text them. Okay, it's time to send them an email. Like, just that rotation so that you stay in front of them just enough time so that you don't lose touch with them. And then also the social media that we talked about with like Facebook, and just being present on Facebook and making sure you're friending your clients on Facebook so that your messaging is getting out and in front of them, or not just your clients, but your sphere. Can kind of, all that piggyback together can really help with your repeat and referral business. Awesome. Anybody got any other thoughts, comments?
This isn't really like necessarily about following up with them, but I noticed like, so I have a lot of clients that I go to church with, and like on Sunday, it's really kind of, I mean, I almost have to block off that I'm going to be at church for 30 minutes after church, because like I can't leave. Like I'm like, and my friends have gone to church with me, like, oh my gosh, they like surround you and they all start talking. So it's like, I don't mind. I really don't. I don't mind. It is just funny because like I'm trying to leave and like different clients of mine are coming up to me and talking to me, and it's nice and great and everything. It's just like, man, sometimes I like, this past Sunday I had a open house like right after church. I'm like, I gotta go out the side door.
You need a
Like,
time.
I literally like cannot. And one of them still found me, and my friend was trying to like block me so I could just go get out to my car so nobody. I'm like, it's so ridiculous. Like but I mean, I love talking to people and like being around people, so I don't mind. I really don't mind at all. It's just like hard when you're trying to like stay on a time crunch, and then also like so many of my clients are always like, let's go get lunch, let's go get coffee or whatever. And I've like even said to my husband, I can't like have 40 new close friends every single year. Like it just doesn't work. But I just love people, and I like being around them. So I'm trying to figure out a way to, still have those relationships and stuff without just
Yeah.
and
The sphere.
sometimes if I call people, like I want it to just be a really short call and it turns into a long thing.
Yeah. I think there's just the conversations that we have and the way that we say things, and then just having the confidence to be okay to just say, hey, it's so great to see you. I gotta run off to an open house. Like, just being able to cut that short. There's a
Yeah.
whole, we could do a whole call on that.
Oh yeah, yeah. But even my one friend goes, the reason that they like you is because of your personality. So if you don't like, the reason those people choose you is because of your personality. So it's like if you don't, if you don't maintain those relationships, then that, that piece of business goes away.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, we're at time, guys. Matt and Audra will be back Friday. I am going to see my baby, my oldest, he's not my baby, in California. So I'm gonna be offline for a few days, but hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. Enjoy your long Labor Day weekend, and I will see you guys next week.
See ya.